Lieutenant Colonel Pete Chambers, vax injured himself, is a former Green Beret and an Army flight surgeon. He's been a powerful voice for the injured.
Howdy. Pete Chambers here. Good to see you. So I just ran back to get Joe. Could somebody help me with this? I got a dog on one side here. Let's get this in there.
I'll hold the dog.
Okay. 9. You should be done until that shift. All right. There we go. Okay. Hi. Pete Chambers. I came over here from Texas. Say again? No, he's fine. Yeah. He's fine. I see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So why are we here? What's one word if you could think about it? Why are we here? And I'm just going off to just shoot from the hip. Freedom. I am. Shooting from the hip. So I got 5 minutes to talk about that. And so I'm just kicking off here. So my name is Pete Chambers, and I'm a soldier. I've been a soldier for a long time. Ronald Reagan was the president when I came in. I actually stood on a tarmac when Ronald Reagan got off a plane in Hawaii. I was with the 25th Infantry Division. I was just a 19-year-old kid with a rifle. And he walked by, and I got to be that close to him, probably here. And things have changed since then, right? And I got out under Brandon. It's just the president that I got out under. But for my last 5 years of my life, military life, was in the Texas National Guard. And so I spent most of that after working on the COVID mission for the current governor. I was his liaison, so I know a lot of the mistakes that were made, and I've seen a lot of things from the inside as to how Operation Warp Speed works. I'm going to say that, I got to the border, and then I watched an invasion. And I stood on that border every third night for a while with my troops as a lieutenant colonel, because I was a young private once who appreciated when my officers came by. And as an officer, I learned, and as an enlisted guy, when you're in charge of stuff, you're responsible for everything that happens, everything that fails to happen. You take ownership. And when your men do good, you don't take ownership of that. You praise them. And when they do bad, you take ownership of it. And it sucks as a commander. It's lonely, right? But that's what we do. So if I look at myself, as I've tried to do is, in my walk with God, and this isn't going to be preaching, but this is just me, I look at things in a triune way. We have a spirit in this nation, and we've got a soul, and we've got a body. And this spirit of the country has been under attack by some pretty tyrannical actors, some forces of darkness, if you will. And you can read the book if you want, and there's some red letters in it. You don't have to be red-pilled. You just read the red letters if you want. But that's the truth. But my spirit is attuned to the commander's voice, right? I listen to the commander's intent. And their commander hands me a mission and says, Pete, go forth and do this in order to do this. It's very simple. So when I read those words and I hear those words from my commanders, whether it was on the border, whether it was in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, or another place that we were protecting their borders, I'll say this, is that sometimes the orders come down and they're not right. Sometimes they're unlawful. Sometimes they're illegal. Sometimes they're immoral. And standing on the border a few years ago, I'm sorry to see Dr. Long isn't here, but we've got more time. But she was the one that was handling things from the Fort Rucker side. I was handling from the border side. An order came down to me and said, you will quit doing informed consents or your career is on the line. Straight up. I testified to this in SEALs versus DOD. And I said, well, sir, this is a 2-star general, and I'm a lieutenant colonel at the time. And there's this game we play, it's called rock, paper, rank. Guess what? I lost. But guess what? We won. Okay, we won. He's used to doing this. It's just like jumping out of a plane. Get down. I see. So we won because truth won. It's taken a while to get here, right? Every one of you in here are combatants in this battle, all right? And I'm using quotes, combatants in this battle. But this is a triune battle on this nation, on my state of Texas, on that border. Infiltration is taking place, whether you believe it or not. 5th generation warfare, General Flynn talks about that. General Flynn also talks about to act locally, as many of you do, to witness the second and third order effects of what a global impact would be, right? So out of 100 warriors, and this was from 480 BC, talking about the Spartans after they fought at Thermopylae, and their saying there was, come and take it. The Battle of Thermopylae goes like this, Malone Leve. The Persians surrounded them. There's 300 of them left. Well, there's less than 300. And the general at that time was Leonidas, and he said, come and take it, Malone Leve. The same thing that's on our battle flag in the state of Texas. From 1836 until 1845, it was a republic, and it still is in my heart. And so that Republic of Texas is very special. No offense against California. Don't California my Texas. All right? It is the natural progression of a man of God, a woman of God, or woman of character to see injustice, to seek it out, and then to act upon it. It's the last thing we do when we sit on the sidelines. I wouldn't have driven here all the way from Central Texas to talk to y'all, not to talk about something of substance. That's why I'm here, because you're the same kind of people in this room. You are those kind of fighters. So I'm mostly shooting from the hip here, but I got a few things I do want to read, and one of them is the preamble to the Constitution of Texas, the Republic of Texas, the state of Texas. And it goes like this. Humbly invoking the blessings of the Almighty God, the people of the state of Texas do ordain and establish this Constitution. You realize that you have rights, and they don't come from a piece of paper. They get transferred to a piece of paper in the form of a Constitution and a Bill of Rights, but those rights are ordained upon you as someone that is created in His image, the Creator. That's just the facts. You don't have to believe it. You can shake your head. You can say, well, Pete, you're crazy. No, crazy left on the train and ended up in Austin, Texas. All right? And here's how this is going to work. As I am at the liberty to share, and I am determined with all my might to be the senior public servant in the state of Texas. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means public servant, okay? The current administration will lose this. God will win this, and the people will win this if I consider that I am the public servant to those people. If by the people, for the people. If I consider that, and I'm a man of my word, and anybody that knows me out there knows this, I don't mince words when it comes to things like that. I still hold the line on the border. I still stand out there about every third week now, not every third night. I'm still out there with a bunch of pipe hitters that are still out there protecting your border from the southern side. And those guys deserve a round of applause because they're still out there. So understand this. This is last little bit here. We got some other folks that need to come up here. Understand this, that the truest virtue of a warrior is love. Okay, it's not about, and it took me a long time to figure this out as a soldier. I was an infantry guy, a grunt, right, carrying a rifle, and I got expert badge on bayonet. How do you do that? Because you're a good soldier, right? But I don't see those anymore. But when you hear fixed bayonets as an infantry guy, that's the scariest thing you could think of, because you're going to be hand to hand. And figuratively speaking, we will be up against the largest leviathan of politics in this nation, aside from the presidency. And this is no easy task. And this is going to be straight up grassroots. I'll be honest with you, straight up. I can't announce. I can, and this is a soft announce. I have $1 in the bank account for that campaign. One. That's where we're starting, because it will demonstrate something greater than I could even explain. So the truest virtue of a warrior is love, and we love who's next to us in the foxholes, and we love our families behind us. We don't fight because we hate. If we do, we fight out of the wrong kind of energy, right? For the crystal people in the group. And that's no joke. Energy and motion is emotion, right? You start fighting up here, you're fighting in love, and I'm talking about figurative speaking and fighting. You fight out of hate, you lose. So we got to love every single person through this, and we will, down to the lowest common denominator, all the way from the Rio Grande to the Red River, from El Paso all the way to Beaumont. We're going to love every one of them, and I love every one of you. Thank you for the time.
All three of our kids participated in the Pfizer vaccine trial.
5 days later, she said they'll run across the court. Junior just collapsed.
She screamed, "Mom, Mom, my heart feels like it's being ripped through my neck." Like screaming, crying.
She had a 5-minute seizure 2 hours after the vaccine. And then 2 hours after that, she had another 5-minute seizure.
I was quadriplegic for close to 2 months.
Within days, I was horrifically ill.
She would black out. Yeah, I go into these breakers. It's like I'm not there, someone else is there.
Hey, listen. One of her friends told us that she had gotten the COVID vaccine because we had no idea.
She's in a wheelchair. She can't feel from the waist down. She has an NG tube. She can't eat. She can't swallow.
We had a nurse laugh at us. We had a doctor laugh at us.
Let's call vaccine hesitancy what it really is, willful stupidity.
With those statistics, that if they're accurate, they constitute a signal that there could be a problem with these vaccines.
No.
Okay, and why is that?
I think it's more complicated than
If they don't produce results that sell the vaccine or the drug, that sponsor's not coming back. The 18-year-old healthy daughter, there was nothing wrong with her. She had no comorbidities. She had nothing wrong with her. And she's just gonna die.
They'll block me on Facebook all the time. Twitter, knock me off.
Big tech is basically harassing and intimidating the victim, basically medically gaslighting them by denying the validity of their injuries.
I didn't know about any of this until I was a person in it. I had no idea how bad this was.
It took nothing to be presumed positive for COVID.
Yeah.
But it takes everything to be presumed positive for a vaccine injury.
my kids were healthy. They just wanted their lives back.
This may be the most profound scandal in human history.
This was the answer. This would have halted the pandemic.
I have lost trust in humanity, in my government, in my agencies. Trust is very hard to get back.
Something is going very wrong in this world.
The pharmacists were denying the treatment, which to me is outrageous.
Our generation let this happen. We don't know what to do.